Welcome back to another episode of Living in Columbus, Ohio. And today we're going to go off the main road a little bit and we're going to talk about what it's like to buy a house in Columbus in 2023. So as always, grab that popcorn, sit back, relax. Let's get after it. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Brad Winter, and if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you tap on that subscribe button below, click on the bell, give us a like, drop a comment. It's gonna help that YouTube algorithm thing do its stuff and let everybody know when we do a new video. And in these videos, we talk about everything that you need to know about living in the Columbus metro or surrounding areas. Now, I am also a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Ohio, and as much as I love doing these videos for you guys and I want to continue to do them, I would love nothing more to help you with your real estate needs. So if you are thinking about moving here, if you're already relocating here, if you already live here, and you need help with all things real estate related, except for rentals, I don't do rentals, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, fire off an email, whatever you got to do, make sure you do it. Someone have your back. So on today's episode, this is going to talk about what it's like to buy a house in Columbus in 2023. Let's go get it. I'm going to break down 5 things about buying a house in Columbus in 2023. And number 1 is you just need to know it's a competitive market. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock over the last 2.5 years, you already know this. And if you don't, maybe you're a first-time home buyer, don't take that the wrong way, but real estate's like in every news article and headline and Instagram feed you can imagine. So Columbus is experiencing some serious growth. It's been going on for a long time, but I feel like over the last 2-3 years, it's just absolutely gone crazy. Now with the announcement of Engel that had happened last year, they're building their mega microchip factory, out in the New Albany area. We've got Honda coming here. You've got a laundry list of companies that are setting up shop here in Central Ohio. So it's just the population is growing and there's not enough houses. I mean, that's everywhere, but here locally, we just can't keep up as far as, producing more inventory. So what does that mean for you as the buyer? Depending on where and every I want to say this because not everybody believes this. Maybe your parents tell you one thing or your sister or whatever. I'm going to tell you this from a professional that does this every single day. Real estate is market by market. And that means real estate in the city is different than real estate in Grove City. And real estate in Grove City is different than it is in New Albany. And New Albany is different than Dublin. You need to know that. That's important. So I'm going to say a lot of this stuff with a general kind of blanket statement. Right now, it's competitive. You should expect multiple offers on a property that is in a solid location. A lot of times has good schools. Now, schools don't matter because if you're in the city, that's different. Again, I'm saying as a generalization here. Good condition, solid schools, and it's kind of like ready to go, right? Not everybody wants to do work. We are still seeing definitely multiple offers on these properties. So that is something from the jump you need to just wrap your head around, that you are going to be in a multiple offer situation 9 times out of 10 on a property. Now, depending on the price point, that could change. But again, trying to be as general as possible here. And if you understand that going in, then you won't get frustrated. You won't be as bummed out. If you work with me, I set those expectations up front. This is a business decision until I hand you the keys. You got to treat it like that. So as the population growth continues and the lack of inventory when it comes to building homes or sellers wanting to sell their home, this competitive situation is going to continue. So that is number 1 on our, we're going to do a list of 5 here. That is number 1. That's where we're going to start. So you just need to know that. Number 2 is rising home prices. So a lot of people that I talk to are like, oh, I'm waiting for home prices to fall. I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out like it did, back in 08, 09. This can't keep up forever. And you know what? I don't know if it can or not. And I'm not going to say the bottom's not going to fall out. All I know is what I see in front of me today, and home prices are going to continue to rise here in the Columbus metro and surrounding areas because of point number one. It's a competitive market. There's not enough inventory. So when you have a lack of inventory and you have a plethora of buyers, that is going to keep driving up the price. And every time a new house closes in a neighborhood or an area, that becomes like the new comp, right? So prices and appreciation will just keep going up. And you need to understand that. So, how do you kind of combat this, or how do you work it? I guess maybe the right answer is like, you got to save your money, have cash, have a steady job, a good job. You might have to adjust your expectations of what that house looks like for you, right? Maybe you got to do some work to it. Maybe you have to update a bathroom, a kitchen, paint. Maybe it's not the perfect house for you today, but get in it, fix it up, or live in it, build the equity, ride the appreciation, and maybe your next house is like the dream house. I work with a lot of people that they want their dream house right away, and that is just not really likely for 99% of the people out there. So you got to learn to kind of like do a stepping stone almost with your house. So again, rising home prices, that's point number two. You need to know that that's going to continue, definitely through this year. I would say through next year. Things can change in the world. This could all change in 2 weeks. But if we're just talking about as a whole and what I'm seeing in the market, this is going to continue to go. All right. I'm going to give you a case study. We just listed a home in New Albany, $315,000. And the owner had bought it about a year ago for $285,000. She put some work into it. She updated it. Looks really nice. And, I think my wife had 10 plus offers in contract over $350. And that's just in 1 year. So that'll tell you about home prices for that neighborhood, how they're going to adjust all of a sudden, but also what the competitive market is. So that's just one example of many, but you can kind of see how things are going right now. Number 3 on the list of, what you need to know about buying a house in 2023 here in Columbus. This maybe sounds generic or juvenile or whatever you want to call it, but you got to have a pre-approval. And if you're not paying cash. So why that's important is you've got to understand what your finances are, what your budget is, what your monthly payment is. A bank or a mortgage company or a credit union, whoever you're using that does mortgages, they have to make sure that you are able to buy a particular home based on your credit, your income, your debt to income, your assets, all those things. So you got to get that done. There's a lot of people that come to me and like, hey, I want to buy a house. And I'm like, first thing is, are you cash? No. You have a pre-approval? No. Okay, we can't actually start the process yet. That is always the first thing that you need to get done. So if that's not something that you know how to do, make sure you shoot me a comment. Be more than happy to direct you in that direction to help you get set up. If you already have it, great. Make sure it's updated. Make sure it's not a year ago pre-approval. That doesn't work anymore. So make sure it's updated. Make sure you understand all the fees that are involved with your lender, how fast you can close. Those are all things that we need to know and that I will help guide you with, when buying a home. But there are just so many people that don't even know to get a pre-approval, and that's our job to educate them. So there's a little educational tidbit for you for today. Number 4 on our list is emphasis on technology. Now, there are a lot of you out there that are going to laugh at this, like, duh, Brad, yeah, that's the way we do it. We do it and everything. But there are so many people out there that haven't bought a house for maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I'm working with an individual right now from California, and she's a mom too. She's relocating here back to Columbus, and she's never bought a house before. So she might not have known all of these different technologies that are out there that go in the home buying process, but also like kind of the search for homes as well. So I want to make this for everybody. If you're somebody my age or you're good with technology, you're already going to know this, but there might be people out there that don't. I work with a lot of people that relocate. And so, buying a house from 5 states away sometimes is not the easiest. But do you know that there are properties that you can virtually explore, like 3D tours? There's Matterport. I do FaceTime tours. I can do video tours with my phone, like, go through and do that for the clients, right? You don't actually have to physically be here to see the home, which, some people, they can do that. Other people can't, but you have that ability. But it also allows you, if you're not quite ready to buy a house, but you want to kind of get an idea of maybe what houses look like in certain areas, a lot of times they will have those virtual tours on there. So just make sure you kind of check that out. Just know that technology is out there and available to you on some houses. Not all listing agents, pay for that technology. This guy does. Also, like digital transactions. I'm not going to come to your house anymore and sign paperwork, right? Like that doesn't happen. Now, in the off chance that it's needed, we'll do it. However, everything now is digital. We know this. We use a system called Dot Loop. That is where all the disclosures and the contract and all the paperwork is signed. So just understand that, when you go to buy a house, you are going to have to more than likely digitally sign these things. If you're somebody that does this before, it's going to be no big deal. It's going to be a breeze. If you've never done this before, because the last time you bought a house was 30 years ago, this might be a little different. So, there might be some growing pains. So you have that technology as well. And there's a whole host of other things, but those are two major things that I wanted to review with you on buying a house in today's age and what that would look like. Number 5, last but not least, is growing neighborhoods. Depending on where you're at in Central Ohio, there are new developments everywhere. You will see home builders buying farmland and land up and building master home communities. And that's happening all over. Downtown, you're seeing new developments go on with more high-rise stuff. And then we'll call them the little boroughs, or the villages, of downtown. You'll see new development going on, whether that's renovating a home or knocking down a home and building a more modern one. So all these areas are going to continue to grow, and they are growing. Now they offer a variety of housing options. Maybe not everybody wants a single family home. Some people want a condo or a townhouse. So as Columbus starts to expand, starts to keep growing, all these things that we talked about, hopefully we'll get more variety of things. That is something that I'm challenging some developer clients to think about is, what does that look like? What do we need here in Columbus? And making sure that, you're building to that specific need. Another thing too is, we have a diverse amount of amenities. So I'm reading right here that I wrote down parks, shopping centers, schools. We need to keep catering to our population demand and just what the people want. So you will see a lot of, new parks being developed, or maybe not even developed. Maybe they are being upgraded, or they're investing more money into the parks for different things like pickleball courts, basketball courts, or, community event buildings, that type of stuff. So you have that. There's always different kind of shopping centers or commercial areas being built. You don't see the mega ones being built, but you get these pockets of little ones in these communities of maybe, a row of 4 or 5 local businesses. So that's happening. Schools here are very important in Central Ohio. So you'll see schools being built. Upper Arlington finishing their project up. You got Gahanna, investing a ton of money in their schools and other areas as well. So these areas are growing. And that just goes along with everything that we talked about that creates a competitive market in Columbus, rising home prices, growing areas. It's just this perfect storm, and it kind of makes up what today's home buying process looks like. So there you have it. Those are 5 items to think about when buying a home in 2023 here in the Columbus Metro or surrounding areas. If you have any questions, if you want to learn more about buying a home here in the area, make sure you just shoot me a comment below, or you can give me a call, shoot me a text, fire off an email. Again, whatever you're going to do, make sure you do it, because I'm going to have your back when it comes to all things real estate related here in the Columbus Metro and surrounding areas. And thank you again for tuning in. Appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode.